going on?
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guy, as always, Mojo Muhtadi. Mojo, we're going to start with a shocking first-round upset. The Los Angeles Lakers go quietly into the night, Mojo. They didn't get swept. It was a gentleman's sweep. In 5 games, the Minnesota Timberwolves behind Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert, they send the Lakers out to Cabo, Mojo. And then this was... it was a rough game for the Lakers. They made a bit of a comeback, but ultimately the Minnesota Timberwolves just too much for the purple and gold. Shocking, Mojo. Shocking, because people said once Luka Doncic was brought in here to Los Angeles that was the piece that the Lakers needed. And now with a second bona fide superstar, they could compete for an NBA title, but it was just not meant to be, Mojo. And again, after Anthony Edwards, who had 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, he shot terribly from 3, 0 for 11, Mojo. You usually don't win when you shoot that badly, but he still had an overall nice game. But Rudy Gobert was unstoppable, Mojo. 27 points and 24 rebounds. The Lakers had no answer for Rudy Gobert inside, and he was the key to this game, and that's why the Lakers are done for the year, and the Timberwolves are moving on. After the game, Mojo, LeBron James, there are a lot of questions now about his future. I mean, it potentially could have been the last game that we ever saw LeBron play in. After the game, he met with the media and possibly throwing a little bit of shade at the Lakers brass. Watch this.
From a physical, taxing standpoint, how tough was that for the last 3.5 months to play that style? And do you feel like that caught up at all in this series?
No comment. I never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and then he was gone the following week. So I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
Wow. I'm going to take that back, Mojo. That is a shot to me at the Lakers front office, and maybe it's a shot at Luka Doncic. Obviously, AD was sent out of town, so Luka could be brought in. I don't know, Mojo.
Well, luckily for LeBron, his streak remains untarnished about having no comment, because after he said no comment, he had a lot of comments afterwards. Yeah. Matter of fact, he probably said more than he usually says after that no comment line. This is rough, man. You're the Lakers. You're out in the first round. That's not great. And you got smashed by a team that you were supposed to go in there and beat. I mean, obviously, their level of play has been a little bit different since the trade. AD for Luka, you've already alluded to it. Way different positions. So while you're filling one void, you're opening up a massive void elsewhere. And essentially, you just can't have it all. I will tell you one thing, Babcock. I mean, is Nico Harrison not the happiest person on the planet right now?
Great point.
This dude is thrilled after an early departure. Can you imagine if they would have won it all this year? Yeah. I mean, this dude, his situation would have been way worse than it is now. I mean, it's still bad. I mean, just because they lost early doesn't mean that the Dallas Mavericks fans are going to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe Luka was overrated. That's just not going to happen.
But it helps.
It does help. It does help a lot, Babcock. LeBron obviously feels some type of way about this. We'll see how this translates in the offseason. Of course, his future, very uncertain. Who knows how many years left he's going to have. But one thing's for sure, Luka is going to be around for a while. And now with an offseason gives the team an opportunity to fill those voids, especially in the big man realm.
A guy who is not 40, a guy who's on the other side of his career in that he's just getting started is that man right there, Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. He is one of the most brash players, but also most talented players in this league, Mojo. And he did not back down at all. I mean, he was physical with LeBron James. He was not intimidated. That was very clear. And again, behind Anthony Edwards, they are advancing. Now, the game was played, Game 5 was played in Los Angeles, Mojo. After the T-Wolves won this thing, Anthony Edwards wasn't in a mood to be quiet. He was going to let everybody know that they had just won the big series. Watch him as he's in Crypto.com arena here, Mojo. We've got Ant-Man, Superman, Batman. Watch this. You know, that's what all the Lakers fans said before the series. They weren't going to sweep them. They were going to let Minnesota get a win. Lakers in 5. In reality, it was Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. Then, Mojo, after the Ant-Man, Batman, Superman comments, Anthony Edwards walks from the arena to his hotel. And if you think he kept his head down, Mojo, and kept quiet, didn't want to, draw a lot of attention, no, not the case at all. Ant-Man spoke the entire way. All right, Mojo, moving on to a scary scene at the Pittsburgh Pirates game last night. So the Pirates hosting the Chicago Cubs at PNC Park, Mojo, when a fan, an adult male, who was in the right center field seats, watch this, Mojo, you're going to see him here, go right over the railing, do what looks like several flips, and lands almost directly on his head, Mojo. We're not going to show you the exact moment he lands because somebody has seriously injured themselves here. You can go and find those things online if you wish to see it. He falls, Mojo. Obviously, the gameplay is stopped. The game is ultimately delayed like 10 minutes. The Cubs trainers race out there. The Pirates trainers race out there. The medics, EMS, they put this man on the stretcher, Mojo, and they take him to the hospital. Now, as we are sitting here Thursday afternoon filming this, this guy is in bad shape. He is in critical condition right now. We have not gotten a health update in the last couple of hours. So last we were told he's in critical condition. Doctors obviously still tending to him. And you hope that this fan is going to be okay. You go out there, Mojo, you think you're going to see a baseball game, and then you're in the hospital fighting for your life. Now, for the Pirates side of things, they have released a statement in part saying Pittsburgh EMS, as well as the Pirates and Cubs athletic training teams and other PNC Park personnel, reacted and responded immediately and administered care. He was transported to Allegheny General Hospital. No further information is available at this time. Obviously, Mojo, we wish this guy the best. And you can see, I mean, that's the players watching this, Mojo. Everybody was shaken up to see something like that.
Yeah, man, that's scary, Babcock. And you see how many flips he did. I mean, that is just gaining more and more momentum before you hit the ground and come crashing down. That was a far enough fall for this to potentially be a lethal situation. Yeah. So you hope
21 feet, Mojo. I forgot to say that is 21 feet high there. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and coming from someone who was a pro wrestler, 21 feet might not sound like it's that high, but when you're standing on the top ropes, you're like, man, my goodness, this is like way higher than it looks on TV. Fall like that is really tough. I mean, dude, that's why I don't like heights, Babcock. I'm going to be honest with you. Standing near the edge of something like that, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, who knows? Maybe like a bee flung by and stung him in the ankle, and that's what made him jump up and, act wild like that. You never know. But you're at a sports game, you're having fun, you're excited. Maybe your team has a great play, you jump up, and these are the things that can happen. Because just watching it with no context, it almost looks like it was on purpose, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't think that guy was trying to fling himself off the railing. But yeah, serious injury here. Hopefully the guy's okay.
Coming up next on TMZ Sports, Hulk Hogan launching a wrestling organization, but not that kind of wrestling. The Hulkster going to join us next, explain what he's got going on. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike Babcock here. Look, we're joined here by wrestling royalty, the great Hulk Hogan, where we're going to talk professional wrestling, but not that professional wrestling, because Hulk has got something absolutely awesome that he is launching, Real American Freestyle. Hulk, brother, how are you?
Everything's good, man. We're up and running. We're on the crest of the wave, and we're on a crazy roll, man. It's getting nuts.
Yeah, so tell us about this, Hulk, because if people are thinking, hey, this is professional wrestling, this is WWE. No, this is not. This is freestyle wrestling or amateur wrestling, but on a professional level, Hulk. Tell us about what you got going on here with you and your buddy Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, well, it all started out with the beer. You know, the Real American Beer, just like the Hulk Hogan name. The Hulk Hogan's got over 1,000 licenses out there for products. You know, we started out with Real American Beer. It was an open lane. One of the huge companies messed up their marketing plan, so I saw this open lane for a light beer that could bring America back together. So we started out with that new brand, Real American Beer, and all of a sudden we're looking for all these opportunities. And Eric Bischoff and myself, my partner Chad Bronstein, were always looking for that Wild Wild West deal. And all of a sudden, you know, we're talking about TV and the industry and stuff, and I'm noticing the reality TV and the scripted stuff isn't popping and cracking like it used to be, but live sports is really taking over. You know, the new volleyball league, Shaun White, the snowboard league, you know, Left Lane was backing those guys. Now they're behind us. And all of a sudden, you know, since wrestling at its core is what I'm all about, I've been in the ring with some really crazy wrestlers. Like I got Brock Lesnar right after he left the UFC. I got him first. I got Kurt Angle when his eyeballs used to roll back like a shark and he'd come after me. You know, Benjamin Shelton, all these different guys that I've had the opportunity to see adapt to our business. I said, you know something? There's something there with these amateur guys because they don't get to continue their career. They either go to UFC and they do the striking or they get a normal job like a mailman or electrician. And I said, with my partner, I said, you know, let me call Eric because there's something here, you know, and Chad and Eric put our heads together and we said, these guys don't have a chance to continue their professional career. But since we can pay them now, you know, it's real American professional because they're getting paid freestyle wrestling. And all of a sudden, man, we grabbed Izzy Martinez and he's the coach of all coaches. He's coached some of the Olympic athletes, NCAA champions. We've got such a crazy team together. And we put out a couple little teasers to kind of let people know what we're doing. This thing's taken off like crazy. It's part of the Real American Beer brand, which has rolled into wrestling. And now we're up to no good. We're going to do all kind of stuff.
How big can this be?
Well, you know, we've even got a crazy female division that's going to grow and grow and grow. But when you talk about how big it can be, I've seen what's happened with the UFC even before Dana White got it. Vince McMahon and I, about, good God, 35, 40 years ago, took a look at it. I can't even remember how long ago it was. And we had no idea it was going to turn into what it was. But when you ask how big can it be, because of the reaction with, you know, the freestyle wrestling and the amateur wrestling and the Olympics, when I think about the UFC and the WWE, we're not competitive at all with these guys, but we have a chance to be just as big as them. I thought maybe these amateur wrestlers were kind of dull, you know, but I was wrong. I've been hanging out with them. They've all got that Conor McGregor swagger. They've been watching TV. They've been watching the wrestling. They know how to run their mouths. They know what branding's all about. So not only the wrestling career that we can pay up to 7 digits at the end of the day, also their licensing, their merchandise. We're getting ready to roll, brother.
That's incredible, Hulk. And I remember watching this and how much attention it got. Obviously, you've got a relationship with President Trump, and he was at the NCAA championships. That got a ton of attention. Did that factor into this at all, Hulk, or had this already been in the works? And hey, that's just you know, another cool thing for the sport of wrestling.
Well, it definitely factored in, but we were way ahead of the game. We had already started this months and months before. But to see our president step up and be involved, I said, I think I know who's going to be at our August 30th event in Cleveland. I'm going to make a special phone call, you know.
That sounds
I might know somebody.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's the guy himself. Yeah, the big man himself. Thank you so much, brother, for your time. Always great to catch up, Hulk.
All right, brother. Tell Harvey I said, what up?
I will tell him so. Thanks, Hulk.
Thank you, brother.
Jake Paul stepping back in the boxing ring in a couple of months against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Well, wait until you hear what the son of the Mexican legendary pugilist says his motivation is to put Jake Paul on his butt. Here's a hint. Has to do with Mike Tyson. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, Jake Paul returning to the boxing ring June 28th in Anaheim, California, against a guy who on paper I think is the toughest test of Jake's young boxing career. Now, fine, Jake fought Mike Tyson in his last fight, but we know Mike Tyson is a little bit long in the tooth these days, Mojo. But the guy that he is fighting this time is a former real deal boxing champion. Also happens to be the son of an absolute legend. He is fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Mojo. Again, this summer, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is a guy who has been in the ring with Canelo before. He is 54-6 as a professional fighter, Mojo, so he's got a ton of professional experience, whereas you've got Jake Paul, who's got 12 fights in his career. We recently spoke with Julio. He believes that Jake Paul is a legit challenger, and he's not going in there rusty off the couch. He's going in there to beat Jake. Watch this.
After beat Mike Tyson, so don't can fight like UFC fighters no more. Fight like a fighter, so have the name, you know. I have the world champion. I want to take revenge of Mike Tyson, you know. When I see the fight, my first thinking is like, oh, I wanna fight Jake Paul, so it's like a dream come because you know it's a new generation now, so I wanna show the new generation the qualities and who I am. So I need to beat. I wanna beat Jake Paul. It's not, now it's a fighter, so and he's big. So I wanna prepare myself to be the best this June 28th.
That is an interesting point for pro boxers to maybe be upset or irritated at the fact that Jake took the fight in the first place against one of their sport's biggest legends, a guy that was willing to keep fighting well past his retirement, decades past his retirement. So I could see some people feeling some type of way for that. So that's maybe what he's referring to here. But if you're Chavez, of course, you're going to be training as hard as you possibly can. I mean, you've had a lot of fights. If this isn't the biggest fight you've had, or at least the most viewed, most popular fight you're going to ever have, I mean, it's in the conversation. It's in the short list. So, I mean, you should be treating this very seriously. You should go in there and try and take Jake's head off. I mean, at the end of the day, he's only lost one to Tommy Fury.
That's it.
So if you're the only other pro boxer he's really fought, don't be the first one to take the L to Jake, because you know how those guys all probably feel about him.
Could there be a fracture in Bill Belichick's family? Well, there is reason to suspect that not everybody seemingly loves Bill's 24-year-old girlfriend. We'll explain next. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, it's been a hectic week for Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Mojo, now there's some reason to believe that some in Bill's own family might not be a fan of Jordan. So get this. Gronk and Julian Edelman were defending Bill Belichick and Jordan this week when Nikki Glaser on social media, she also weighed in, and she basically was making the point, hey, look, Jordan's just acting as Bill's publicist. She said 100% this. Jordan's acting as his publicist. Publicists do this during interviews. People are out for blood. Okay, so then, Mojo, a woman by the name of Jennifer Schmidt. Jennifer Schmidt is married to Bill Belichick's son, Steven. Steven, who, by the way, is a coordinator on the UNC football team. So it's not like he doesn't have a relationship with his dad, Mojo. He does. Seems that wifey ain't a fan of Jordan. So listen what Jenny says. She asks Nikki Glaser, publicists act in a professional manner and don't storm off set, delaying an interview. Woo, Mojo. It feels like some tension in the Belichick family to me.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we've been talking about how the country, the football universe has been responding to this relationship. We haven't talked too much about how the family itself would be responding to this relationship. And there's a lot of special dynamics with this family, Bill Belichick being who he is, his son working with him, not just at UNC, but his son was a coach with the Patriots for years. So they've had a long-standing working relationship in addition to their professional one. Now you're talking about the son's wife. How are vacations? I don't know if they go on vacation together, holidays, like family hangouts. How are all these things when Bill's bringing over a 24-year-old? I mean, how does she present herself to the family? Because his son's wife is older than she is, I don't know. There's some sort of power struggle. You know how families can get. Everyone has a family. They know how these things can get. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, clearly we don't have to think too hard about this because this was an Instagram comment. I don't know. I feel like it's a little different than doing an entire tweet of your own or your own hard post on Instagram. I mean, she took this one to the comments. Like, that's how much she had to say something. So, wild. Clearly, there's got to be some family assimilation here going on, depending on how.
Yeah, Mojo, I think this is big. I mean, nobody has known how the family has felt about this. This is the first indication that there are issues in the family here. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how the dynamic between all of these people actually works now that she said what she said. All right, we're out of time, Mojo. We got a big show planned tomorrow. It's going to be great.
That's right, Babcock. It'll be the best show since today.
I'm a lawyer.